Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and today we're doing another Drinking and Thinking with Zell. And that means you've got 9 seconds to get your drink of choice, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, guys, today in sharp news, well, there's just not a whole lot going on that I can find, except Anthem, Mariform, and Kai Industries, of course. Mariform has amended the lawsuit to put Kai Industries in cahoots or something with Everyday Commentary on writing that article, and it's just getting to be a big mess. Let's all have a big group hug and figure this crap out and quit doing lawsuits. Anyhow, the only other news we've got is knife gripes from Nick Shabazz. There's a new one up over on Knife News, and Knife News, I want to say this. We like watching Nick. We like his knife gripes because they're short, concise, to the point. Very nice. We hate the fact that you lock them up on your own website and you don't put them on YouTube or some other service where we can watch them the way we want to, in the manner that we want to. With your player on your website, all we can do is full screen or the little bitty freaking box, and that sucks. Fix it, guys. And on to some stuff from MassDrop. They are not a sponsor. I just perused through there and saw some stuff I thought was kind of neat. You do want to check pricing. I'm going to give you the MassDrop price, but sometimes Blade HQ, Knife Center, Cutlery Shop, and others, GP Knives, others, they will beat the prices on MassDrop. So look at the deal you're getting from MassDrop and then compare before you slap your money down. Anyhow, first up was a CRKT Eros, and that's a knife I want to love. It's a the guy from Hawaii. He designed the leak. Ken Onion design, and it's one that I wanted to get whenever it came out, and it had Ozark for blade steel. Ken, Cricket, get your act together. Ozark is not acceptable EDC blade steel for knives that cost 50 or 60 bucks. It's just not working. Fix it. But at $37, it's a cool enough design you may want to give it a shot. They also have an ESEE Izula over there for $46 or $58 with the little kit that comes with the Izula. And that's a little fixed blade that you may want to check out. It's a really neat one. Really simple little fixed blade at a very reasonable price. So links to that and everything else we've talked about are down in the description. Also, they have a Vox, what is this one? F3. It's a titanium frame lock, and you guys know I love Jesper Vonne's design, and this is another good one. And they're selling it for 140 bucks. Like I said, check prices, but that sounds pretty good to me. And even if you don't, you want to go over and look at that knife. That knife from Jesper is just excellent. Love his designs. And then we have a MassDrop, what they call this thing, blue box special from Spyderco and MassDrop, and that is a cool deal. What you do is you pay $69 for your Delica, which is actually about $3 or $4 high for a Delica, but what you're really doing is entering yourself in a lottery of sorts, a drawing, if you will, because depending on the number of people that join the drop, it depends on how many chances you have to get an additional something or get a different Delica. The $69 gets you a base model Delica. But if there's enough people join the drop, you have a chance to get the titanium Damascus Delica, the ZDP 189 Delica, and several other versions and colors, and you have the chance to get knife sleeves and other knives, and it's just, like I said, it's a big lottery type thing that you should go check out, even if you're not interested in the Delica, so that you'll know what a blue box is whenever it comes up again over on MassDrop. Now, videos. We got some videos this week, of course. First up is the BirdShot IV channel. Those guys have done an overview of some of the budget WE knives, and they threw a 705 in there and a 606 in there, and one other 703, I think, or 601, that's what it was. And they've done a good job as usual. The BirdShot IV channel is always entertaining, and they stick a little knife info in there too, which is always great. So get over there and watch them. And then we have the Apostle P. This week he's looking at the 781 Anthem from Benchmade. And it's a long video, guys. It is definitely long form Apostle P. But whether you're interested in the Anthem or not, the first 15 or 20 minutes of it, go watch it. It's worth your time. If you're interested in the Anthem, go watch the video, make the notes, and listen to what Rob says. Because he lays out his own biases, but listen to what he says and listen to the last half of this video before you go buy that Anthem. Be informed. I'm not telling you that it's a good or a bad knife. I just want you to be informed before you buy any of these integral knives. And then next up we have Walter Sorrels. He's talking about tools this week. If you don't have any tools, go watch the video. If you have very few tools, go watch the video. If you have a whole garage full of tools, you should have watched the video. Enough said about that. And then we've got Jeremy up at Simple Little Life, way up north of the border here, and he's talking about 5 tips for grinding better bevels. If you are a knife maker, aspiring knife maker, considering messing with a grinder in any way that might have to do with cutting knife bevels, you want to go watch this video. And whether you learn anything from it or not, it's well worth your 10 or 15 minutes, and you're going to learn something. Anyhow, guys, go give Jeremy a watch. And nobody is a sponsor of this show, by the way. None of these channels that I mentioned. This is for you guys. If there's ever a sponsor, hey, I'll let you know. But right now there's not. And for today's question of the week, we're going to go to a tabletop view. All right, guys, today we're talking about integral knives. But first, I want to go over a little bit of history. Way back with the Buck 110, 112, 501, 503, all the other siblings and all the other copies, this is what you bought because this is what was available. Even whenever Spyderco first came on the scene, they had a variation on this design, and they were using different materials, of course, and brought us pocket clips and stuff. But still very similar. You had to open the knife up, get your Q-tip out, and clean up in there because you couldn't get to the back of the knife because it had a lock bar in it. Simple enough. Well, at some point, somebody brought us a knife that had pillars and half back spacers and all these things, and everybody had to have one because, oh my God, that's easier to clean. Now, whether that's really true or not, I don't know, because I ended up with a freaking Q-tip anyhow, cleaning the fuzz out of there. But you can run water through them if you're out in the field doing something and get the crap out of there. So we all had to have them because they were the new thing. And then we come up to things like this 704, which, man, that is super flow through. There's only 3 screws holding this thing together and a couple of pins. And man, you could film a movie through that hole. And that's great too. And now we're doing integrals. Well, with the integral, we're back to where we started. Well, I mean, not where we started, but we're back to the Buck 110 days. You're going to have a Q-tip to clean out in there. I mean, I suppose you can run some water through there, but you're still going to have a Q-tip. So get them back out of the back of your closet or out of your gun cleaning kit. You're going to need them again if you buy an integral. So, and that's what I want to get to. We talked about integrals a little bit whenever we did the 702 review, and I said it was an engineering feat, and everybody took me wrong, I assume, because what I keep hearing is the making the one-piece titanium handle is an engineering feat. Well, no, it's not. Making a one-piece titanium handle means that somebody got into whatever their CAD program is and whatever their CAM program is, and they set up their CNC machine to make a one-piece handle. Where the engineering comes in is in the pivot area and around the pivot, the end of the lock bar, and how you get your lock bar, your steel lock bar insert in there, and how you get all of the necessary parts inside that pivot. That is the engineering feat. These two knives have done it very well. There's blow-ups out there on the internet that show you the internals of these two knives, and if you haven't looked at them, search them on Google. You can find them and get a look at them, because these two knives have done it very well. We can talk about the 702. I've had it apart. This one belongs to a viewer, Seth, and I'm not going to take his knife apart because, well, these knives are few and far between, and I don't want to accidentally lose something or mess something up. But I have had the 702 apart several times, and you've got everything in this pivot that you would have in this pivot. You've got your stop pin is right there under this little bit of a collar. Your lock bar insert is right there behind that screw. And you have hardened steel washers in here. You have ceramic ball bearings and everything that would be in a normal pivot. And WE has done a really good job of getting all that in there in a smart way that makes it where you can take this knife back apart. You can replace parts if you need to. So it's done very, very well. The Tashi Baruch of the Future is also done very well, but there are other knives out there that aren't done as well, and you need to be aware of that, because this is what you're paying for in the integral as far as engineering goes. Now, you are paying for the extra titanium that they had to send out with the trash, or send out to be recycled, but what you're really hopefully paying for is the amount of engineering that went into this area here. So you want to make sure that you're actually paying for something. And I have heard and seen that some of the knives out there that are integrals don't have the engineering in the pivot that these two knives have. That they have stuck a standard pivot in there. Maybe they put bearings in it, but they haven't put the hardened steel washers behind it. And if they do that, then you end up with a knife that has those bearings, whether they be ceramic or stainless, that are rolling against titanium, and they're harder than titanium. So what they do is they wear a little groove in the titanium, and over time you won't be able to center that knife or keep that pivot tight enough to have no blade play in it, because whenever you tighten a pivot in a integral knife, because it's one piece, you start squeezing these two pieces together, and if you have to continue to do that, at some point your blade's not going to open properly. So you want to make sure that if it's got bearings in it, that it's got those hardened steel races behind them, or washers, if you will. There are other things. I mean, you just want to make sure you're getting a good knife. You know, these two, good knives. This one, way too expensive to carry every day. This one, well, that kind of depends on who you are and how much you're willing to spend on everyday carry knives. Much more reasonable, though. But do they give me an advantage? I don't think so. I love the 702. But if they had this same knife in a non-integral, if they had this same knife where this was all missing like it is on the 704, I would carry the knife that wasn't integral probably way more often, because it would weigh a considerable amount less. And that's important to me. Now, I do carry the 702, and I do enjoy it, because you get a really, really solid feel out of the knife. That's part of being integral. It is definitely a solid feel. But kind of going with that, we've got this one full flow through on the hinderer. And if I had to stab that big nasty box on the way home, I'm not going to feel like I don't have the proper knife to do it, because I don't have an integral. This one is plenty stiff enough. Same with this 704 from WE. You know, and that thing, like I said, you can film a movie through there. I would feel like I had plenty of knife to take care of myself and take care of that nasty box. So, I don't know that they give you enough there. And would I suggest that you buy one? If you're interested, they are a novelty. They are not a requirement. There's nothing about an integral knife that makes it so much better than these other knives that you need to buy it. The only reason might be if you're a person who doesn't want to take your knife apart ever. There are fewer screws. The pivot assemblies are more complex, but they do stay together better. This 702 has stayed together extremely well. I've had it apart several times, but that's just because I wanted to have it apart to get a look at what was inside it. So that's the only reasons that I can think of buying one, is if you're a collector or if you're just intrigued by the integral thing. Otherwise, I'm not telling you to stay away from them. If you find a good deal on one, get one. But it's not something that you should be seeking out, in my opinion, if you're just going to use it for everyday carry. If you're going to use it for use a knife for everyday carry, find something that fits your hand. Find something that has the requirements in it that you're looking for. Like this hinderer, this 704. Oh, this one's lighter. I'll pick it up. I've got a stop here to keep me from running my hand up on the blade. I've got a forward finger choil for fine work. And it's a plenty solid enough knife that, like I said, I can get that big nasty box if it comes after me on my way home. And, you know, the Hinderer fits my hand very well too, and it has the same features. So, except it's just a heavier duty knife. So, I would look for a knife that fits your hand and does what you need it to do. I would not be worried about whether it's integral or not, unless you're just intrigued by them. Anyhow, I really appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with me, talking about the news and talking a little about integrals. And you have a great day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.